Good morning, students. This is Khilesh Kumar, Assistant Professor in English. This YouTube channel for your English literature class. So, welcome to this YouTube channel. And today, I will teach you a very fantastic poem, Birches, by American poet Robert Frost. So, in our previous video, we have studied about a poem of Robert Frost, Bending Wall, and now Birches. So this is your part first. You know, Robert Frost was an American poet, and he is a very great poet of nature. Especially, he is regarded as the poet of rural areas, because we see the real picture of rural areas in his poetries. So this poem is also a nature poem. Birches. Birches is a name of trees. Birches is the name of trees, and especially birches are found in America, and Robert Frost, lived in America. So the poem was composed by American poet Robert Frost. This poem was included in Frost's third collection of poetry, Mountain Interval, which was published in 1916. So Robert Frost is regarded one of the most remarkable poets in 20th century also. And there was third collection of poetry. So remember this name of this collection of poetry, Mountain Interval, in which this poem was published in 1916. The poem is written in blank verse. Okay. Originally, this poem was called Swinging Birches, or we can say swinging the branches of birches tree. Okay. The whole poem moves between poet's imagination and facts, because in the poem we see that the poet is in front of birches trees, and these birches trees are in bending situation. So the poet makes imagination that some boy might have been swinging these birches trees, and the poet mentions that activity is the activity of happiness and carefree life. That is why he remembers his childhood, when the poet himself used to make swinging birches. So the whole poem moves between poet's imagination. So these are the imaginations of the poet, but in reality These birches trees are bent by storm, by ice storm. So in the poem, the poet himself is speaker and explains how the birches trees were bent. How the birch trees were bent. Frost was inspired by his childhood experience with swinging on birches, which was a popular game for children in rural areas of New England during the time. So, the poet recalls his childhood when he used to swing on the birches tree. And now the poet has been an adult. He just making imagination how he was making, how he used to make the branches swinging, the birches trees swinging. So the poet mentions that he can no longer find this peace of mind from swinging on branches because he is an adult now. So the poet wants to convey a message that the life with the company of nature is having the peace of mind. If you want to achieve the peace of mind, then you will have to go in nature. You will have to make company of nature. So the poet mentions that he can no longer find this peace of mind because now he is an adult. He doesn't make the activity of swinging on branches, on swinging on birches trees now. So he can no longer find this peace of mind, and this peace of mind was found in his childhood, when the poet in his childhood used to swing the branches of birches trees. So the poet mentions that he can no longer find this peace of mind from swinging on branches, swinging on birches trees, because he is an adult now. Next, in the poem, the poet sees a group of bent birches trees. So in the poem, the poet sees a group of bent birches trees, and the poet makes his imagination, and now the poet makes his imagination that some boy. Why he is making such like imagination? Because he himself used to do such like activity in his childhood when he was a boy, when he was child. So the poet makes his imagination. The poet now is an adult, and he makes his imagination that some boy might have been swinging these birches. So some boy might have been swinging these birches. Okay, because when he was a boy, he used to swing these birches trees, and after swinging these birches trees, these birches trees convert into bending mode. So these bent birches trees are the result of swinging the branches of these birches trees by some boy. So this is the imagination of the poet Robert Frost. But what is the reality? But soon the poet is forced to acknowledge the truth. But soon the poet is forced to acknowledge the truth of the birches, that the bends are caused by winter storms. The bends are caused by winter storms because Robert Frost sees so much ice, snowfall on these birches trees, and because of winter storms, because of snowfall, these birches trees are bent, not by a boy swinging on them, not by a boy swinging on them. So this is the reality the poet is supposed to acknowledge. So in the poem, the poet Robert Frost wants to give a message to us that someone who goes to on the branches of Birches tree, it means someone who goes in the lap of nature, in the lap of natural object. So at that time he will get peace of mind. He will get the true sense of life. But when the particular person back to on the earth, he is surrounded by sorrow, sufferings, and all these things. So the poet wants to give a message to us that if you want to live a peaceful life, you should be a swinger of the branches of trees. So through this poem, the poet gives a very realistic and fantastic example of nature, the importance of nature, and the poet presents a beautiful picture of natural object through these birches, through these birches trees. So this is your part first. Thank you so much, my dear students.